Durty Talk, the podcast with Bob Fryer. Keep the conversation cooler, get it on fire from the studio room and push through the wires. Learn how the brains groove and distinguished outliers. The artists you admire who lay some walls.
All right, this is going to be episode 18 of Durty Talk. I am on location at Boom Concepts in East Liberty.
Garfield.
Thank you for the correction.
No problem.
And I'm with my man, talented artist, owner of Boom Concepts, Darrell Kinsel.
Peace. Welcome. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for being part of this. I got to say, I love your work. It's beautiful and it's powerful.
Thank you.
And I hate to label an artist. I hate to label myself, but you seem very outspoken on current events, on things that are dear to your heart, that are important for society and everyone else coming up. You bring a lot of attention to, which I believe is an important cause, Black Lives Matter, and also given every other orientation within the Black ethnicity and culture as well, too, trans, gay, and I don't mean to sound ignorant or anything, but I don't know all the different terms, but I think it's wonderful. You're definitely a people lover.
Look, man, we're all human. I just center myself in humanity. Here at Boom Concepts, our work centers in Black and brown artists. We support queer and femme artists as well. We're super excited and happy always to be meeting new people, artists across discipline. And man, it's funny you say that because I started out painting landscapes.
I know a lot of artists that have painted landscapes. I've done landscapes. Sometimes it's soothing. It takes you away from the life of every day. And it's like you go to this place and you see a forest or mountains and water, and it's just like, you know what? That's relaxing. I think we all need a downtime for something, reset, and then go back floating.
And I grew up in Pittsburgh, so there's great natural landscape here. So I would go into the forest, go into our natural parks and whatnot, set up an easel, or I would imagine different locations. But, I really owe my radicalization to the students that I work with over the years. So, a lot of the students and young people that I've taught through education programs or being inside schools have really taught me about humanity, different identities. And, we just try to have a really strong tribe around us where, we learn from each other and we also keep each other accountable, in regards to humanity or just art.
And accountability is hard now. It's not a matter of people wanting to admit that they were wrong. It's like, I don't want the consequences because I was wrong. Yeah. And I can't get past that on a lot of things. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm going to own up to it and learn from it and learn where I was wrong and why I was wrong. And not do it again,
And a lot of times I think how people lean into their ignorance is that it's difficult to be incorrect because then you have to change.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like, something has to shift in your thinking and your values. And we all, we believe in our values, right?
Absolutely. but some people's values are wrong. Wrong. And when I say that, it's like, if you can't stand somebody because of the way they look, their skin color, or their religion, your values are wrong.
Yeah.
But if you don't like someone because of something they did to you, it's like, who likes a rapist? Who likes a pedophile? That's a reason to hate someone. In my book,
Yeah, we just always make sure we stand strong in our values, share beliefs so that we're always teaching each other. And at Boom Concepts, really use art as a tool for that learning, between different people.
Yeah, and that's something I was recently asked, how many Black artists I follow.
Okay.
I didn't know how to answer that because I'm very pictorial. And in the day of Instagram, it's all pictures of art. for what I look for.
Oh, so it's like, how do you figure out who's behind the Instagram profile?
And sometimes you got to scroll until you find a picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when I can't just go out and look for, and that's probably my ignorance, and that's something I really want to go out and start supporting other black artists and stuff like that, because it's important to see all different forms of art through different eyes.
Well, you're not the only person. I mean, I think the market in general has a difficulty in finding or identifying black artists, whether that's due to proximity, whether that's due to relationship, whether that's due to bias, So one of our pieces at Boom Concepts is we wanted to be a creative hub, and we have been that over 6 years, for black, brown, queer, and femme artists. So at least in Western Pennsylvania, there's another resource for people who are looking to support, who are looking to give a couple likes, maybe a couple dollars, maybe buy some artwork. But, all of our artists at Boom Concepts, you can kind of really rely on, if not 100%, 98% of our participating artists being black, brown, queer, or femme. So we just want to be a resource for people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, do you only, you're saying 98%, like, so if someone does not fall into those categories and everything, do you look away from them?
We don't look away, we prioritize, which is a different piece, right?
Absolutely.
We've worked with white straight dudes before, visual artists, musicians, theater folks, but we know that the field is rich with opportunities for straight white men in particular. So, when we were looking even up and down the avenue here in Pittsburgh, before Boom, you rarely would see an exhibition by black artists.
That's
and
right.
Then we had every month, we have something called Unblurred Gallery First Fridays, where all the independent galleries have new exhibitions. And so not only was there not a black-run space, but there were rarely any black artists shown. And I think next year is like 25 or 30 years of Unblurred. So we know our work over the past 6 years has not only brought more visibility to black artists that are at Boom, but also showing other organizations, institutions, that there are high-quality, talented artists that you should either take a chance on, invest in, and support. Yeah. So, people a lot of times they get their start here and then may go into a space, that doesn't center blackness as much, like a traditional institution potentially.
So within the art world then, as you're speaking, and you're making all these great opportunities and giving an outlet and being a resource for the black artists and queer and trans and everything. What, have you gotten any negative feedback from the art community? Because to me, when I see something like that, it gives me a warm feeling. Like you know what, like that's what art is about.
Yeah,
it is showing who you are through your eyes and being very pictorial about it. And stuff.
So we have gotten critical feedback on ways that we can improve our practices. Sometimes your intention doesn't always match your impact. So, we're in constant communication with folks who don't look like me, who don't have the same identity as me, who don't have the same discipline as me, people who may be operating outside of my discipline as well, to kind of keep some checks and balances on how we're operating at Boom. We believe that it's a road to always getting better. So we don't have a board of directors, but our community, our tribe, and even, our contemporaries do a really good job about keeping us accountable, because we know we put a lot of challenges out into the world.
Yeah, and there's a lot of challenges for all of us. And there's a lot more challenges for people of color. And the concept here at Boom is something that I would like to know more about.
Yeah.
Because to me, I'm going to learn from it.
Yeah.
And I like to refer to my kids a lot on a lot of the stuff that they like. And it's, I think kids are like dogs. They have the best judgment growing up because everything's pure to them. It's new. When they have a good feeling about someone, it's because of the personality or
the spirit.
It is, or like if they get a good feeling off of, say, a painting, because I'm very artistic in my house with my kids and let them see a lot of things. A friend of mine who's a graffiti writer out in Colorado sent me this it would be like a scary like character. He sent it for me, and I was going to put it in my office. My daughter, who was 1.5, 2,
loved it.
She loved it. She took it in her room. It's still in her room, and like she sees the colors and stuff. It doesn't scare her. And I think more people need to have child's eyes.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's me.
And
in a perfect world.
Yeah, and a big part of our organization is education. So we work with students, we work with children, we do after-school programs, we do in-school programs. So we're always excited to not only be making work, but also like teaching others about art and like being an artist as a job. A lot of times, whatever your identity may be, you don't know that being an artist is a job. I mean, I don't know about you, but I didn't grow up with any artists in my family or in my neighborhood. Did you have any?
I had an influence. I always liked art. I always liked putting color to something, walls, drawing on walls. And I had a passion for it. Coincidentally, my neighbor was my art teacher growing up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so like, and the way that she taught me, because I remember going over and looking at her, and we sat down, and there was a bird on this coloring book, and she brought out paper, and I tried drawing it, and she grabbed it. She was like, "No," she goes, "Draw the lines you see as shapes, and it'll start forming
coming together."
Yeah, and that's how I've been doing it, and that's the only influence I had growing up until I went to community college for art, and that ended in a bad scenario because with my teacher. I didn't like what she said to me, so I called her a Nazi and left.
Well, our team doesn't do that in the classroom.
To summarize, I drew a picture of Hitler getting executed. She wasn't too cool with it. I was like,
"Yeah,
and you're a Nazi," and I bounced.
One of the things about work like that is, Boom doesn't censor our artists. We help grow with them. We want their work to evolve, but it's like a lot of times we have had images kind of really challenging the status quo, kind of what you're talking about. I mean, we've also had really nice portraits and landscapes. So, we are a home for artists across discipline. You don't necessarily have to be agitational or activist based. We are always encouraging people to use their own voice and make sure that voice comes out loud and clear.
Now, when you said like you've had different pieces that like have been kind of questionable in a way, have you ever looked at a piece and been like, oh my God, like the talent in it is good, but the subject is just almost offensive? Like,
I mean, I've seen some beautiful work that goes against my values. I've seen some beautiful work that's challenged my beliefs. I think we all have an opportunity to know the different ways we have relationship with art. So, sometimes it's like taking it from daddy's hands and putting it in your room because you love it so much, right? And sometimes it's it takes you back. Sometimes it's offensive.
Yeah, like
sometimes it's immoral, right? Like,
so the reason I ask this is because like I'm in all these art groups and stuff like on Facebook, and somebody posted a picture. It was a drawing of Agent Orange, aka Trump, literally fucking his daughter from behind.
See,
and like I'm like, you know what, like the detail in it was like amazing. But I'm like, what are you promoting here? Like you could be against someone, but at the same time, like is this something you're into? Like it makes me question like like the intentions of it.
Now, here's part of my personal beliefs.
Yeah.
I don't recreate images that I don't necessarily agree with. Right?
Yeah.
So, and I also don't consume images of like real life entities that I don't agree with or align with.
So I'm in line with you on that.
Right? So any work that's a depiction of our current administration, regardless of the subject matter, is not going to be something that I'm into. And also, you know, if there are themes within the work that I don't agree with, right? That's probably also going to keep me away from the work. But it's really, you know, at the end of the day, we realize that the market determines value.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's something that it's also intriguing to me, because it's like there's so many great artists out there. Like, if you just look at a piece and be like, "That's fucking amazing," like I pay this for it, and next thing you know, they're selling it for like $300, and you're like, I expected more.
Mm-hmm.
And like, how do you put a value on your art? It's I've had that question asked me,
yeah,
and I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. So, you know, time, material, is it in a series? So I tend to create things in groupings or series.
That's kind of what I'm into now too.
Right? So it's like, and it may not necessarily mean that the biggest thing is the most expensive. But I think when I create in a series mode, that helps me put different valuations on pieces. It's also dependent upon the season.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
Like, depending on the season, how much backstock do I have? Right?
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
We have to operate as a store. You know, a lot of times I tell folks the independent entrepreneur who's dealing in the physical item is like a Walmart. They're a grocery store. So you have to keep everything fresh. You know, do you have something that's out of style for what represents the work that you're presenting in a public manner?
Yeah.
Do you have things in concept and it's not being shown at all and you're just working to produce the stock? So there's a lot of different influences. I also say that the work is always better in someone's home as opposed to my own studio.
It is. I mean, a lot of people don't understand that. It's like you could have it up on this amazing wall, and it can look great. But when you get it home, it might not fit.
Mm-hmm.
Like your whole style,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got to change your room and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the type. I'm gonna change my room because if I love that art piece, I'll
figure it out.
and I'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, owning a gallery, and we talked briefly on this when we were on the phone. What is you're going on 6 years being open.
Yep.
So, from when you started, what was your idea of owning a gallery? And because like that's actually a dream of mine to own a gallery and have a similar concept of what you have.
Mm-hmm.
But what's the difficulties opening it to the success that you're having now? Like what has led to that?
So one of the things is I'm the co-founder, so it's myself and Thomas Agnew. We founded the space together. What it started at, or the bones of Boom Concepts, are a workspace. So this storefront, 5139 Penn Avenue, was initially identified to be Thomas and I's workspace.
Okay.
So studio.
This would be a dope studio, I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Well, my studio's in the basement.
Nice.
Right. So it's the length of the building, but it's just a low roof.
Okay.
So it started out as a workspace. We have evolved to a gallery, and we like to say creative hub because, you know, there's a lot of different stuff that happens here. We've had yoga happen here. We've had mothers meetings and sweet 16 birthday parties. Is our values and our beliefs led us to understand that this space was a lot for two people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It was a lot. And knowing the conditions on Penn Avenue where we did not see representation of Black, brown, queer, and femme artists from the other institutions that have been existing. We saw that need or the gap in the market, and it was like, we can fill this gap by just following the values and beliefs.
See, and the way you're speaking, I feel that it's your value, like your values. Your intention is about the community and the people that essentially look like you.
Yeah,
and that's great. It doesn't. I don't get. I want the money like this. Like
that's the second part.
Yeah.
So that's the haymaker.
Yeah.
Okay. The community is the jab, and I'm lefty. So the haymaker is, this is a job.
Yeah.
So if you're a hobbyist, Boom is not probably for you. If you are trying to advance your career, looking to build your portfolio, looking for public art opportunities, looking for education opportunities, wanting to sell art, come to Boom. Yeah. So there was a distinction for us about, okay, there's a community intentionality, but we know we gotta keep the lights on.
Yeah.
Gotta keep the doors open. So even that though, we take a smaller percentage than your typical gallery. Typical gallery fee can be anywhere from 30 to 60% of a sale.
And that's insane. 60% of the sale is insane.
We are locked in at 25%.
And that's reasonable.
Yep.
And like, I'm even okay with 30%. Depending on the place, also 40%, because if they're going to ship it and stuff too, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
They're going to handle all that. But I have seen in some galleries that I've spoken to, the percentage is always in their favor, and it's like they're doing you a favor, and in a way they are.
Mm-hmm.
But the feel that I get from you, it's not about the money. Obviously you have to make a living.
Yep.
And I can respect that, but I mean, you're saying it like in a way that you're still putting it back into the community.
Yep.
Like you're keeping the space open for other people to come in and further their career.
Yep. And we've had to make demands. We've had to be really keen on our negotiations in order to be open for 6 years, and we've also had to really challenge the field. So it hasn't been the same as running a traditional gallery. We probably have more unique revenue streams outside of art sales, because we also, we do performance art, we do music. We're like hosting a digital concert this week. We've done like panel conversations and whatnot. So that's another piece for artists, just like realizing, because Boom is an extension of my art practice, right? So that's like one revenue stream. Selling paintings is a revenue stream. Teaching is a revenue stream. So, really understanding all the different ways you can be paid from your intellectual property.
Yeah, and that's a thing where a lot of people don't respect the IP. They don't. And case in point, I just had someone try to get me to do a design for them, and then the next thing I know, like I told him the price, and he wanted it $50 less, and I'm like, look, dude, this is how I feed my family. I'm not doing that. Like, I already gave you a great price on this because of COVID right now. Like, I will go down on prices on things. He posts my artwork on his page, basically insinuating I'm going to work with him, doesn't tag me or anything, and I'm like, oh, like, at this point, you're a joke. And he's been telling me he's been doing clothing for 13 years, and then it's like, he wants me to do art for him, give it to him. He sells a T-shirt for $1,000.
See, that's like, that gets into licensing fees and copyright and trademark.
And he asked me for this one design that I have. I recently posted. He's like, I want to buy the rights to it. What is it? I was like, $2,000, man.
For an eternity?
Yeah.
Yeah, it could even be more than that.
Yeah.
So, we like to be in conversation with artists about how to have these different responses to the buyer's market. Because, another thing about Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania, a lot of artist buyers probably are not here.
No. where's your market at? Like, if you know it.
For my physical works?
Yes.
Here and a little bit in like New England. But I do okay here. And I'm trying to make a return to making more physical works, but like for the past even 3 years, like I have been really into theater.
That's cool.
And like installation, and so it's like I'm really like kind of unwinding a lot of my painting practice.
Yeah, but when you go back to it,
it's so much stronger.
It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like and like when we spoke, I said that I thought your work and my work were complementary.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not like we're stealing each other's styles or anything, but it's like a lot of my
the expressiveness of it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I always ask certain questions, and I've never asked this one. And because of your political stances and your beliefs, and you put those in your paintings, have you gotten any negative feedback from people? And if so, how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom. So
you too?
Yeah, right. But yeah, I think I don't necessarily look at it as negative feedback. It's just like someone being critical, or it's the work. My agitational work is meant to open up conversation.
Yeah.
Right? So, I use the N-word in a bunch of my texts. My mom doesn't like it, and a lot of my elders don't really respond to it positively. So one day I met a older black woman, and we're talking about it, and she's like, I just don't understand why you do that. And she tells me her experience of someone in downtown Pittsburgh, a white person calling her a nigger.
Ooh.
Okay? And afterwards, I looked at her in the eye, and I said, but I would have never received that story if I didn't make this painting.
Right?
And we would have never shared that history, and we would have never shared that moment. And she gave me the biggest hug afterwards. So it doesn't always go like that, but a lot of times it does when people say, why? And I start to explain, because I'm open.
Yeah. See, having that word, as much as I love your art, I would not hang that in my house. Because I mean,
probably wouldn't sell it to you.
Yeah,
that's like another thing.
Yeah. I've turned down buyers on things too.
Right?
I mean, the reason I wouldn't have it is because the last thing I want is I have 2 small kids, and once they are able to read, the worst thing I could have is them go to school and say that word,
and it's out of context.
Yeah, and it's not because it's being said; it's because they read it on an art. Like that's my concern.
But here's what I tell people too: whoever you are, you can't keep your children away from language. Especially that's highly utilized in popular culture, right? We're not talking about the King's English or Ebonics or African American vernacular. Like, we talking about like, yo, hey, you know what I mean? It's just like we talking about really highly utilized words within popular culture, regardless of people's intentions. Right? Right? It's like there's highly utilized language that is difficult to shield your children from. What I argue or provide a counterpoint to is, I think through art that's interpretive in different ways, there's an opportunity, maybe not at your home, right? But I would love to like visit your children's school.
Oh, absolutely.
And and have like a conversation with parents, with this, with that. So it's really, it's also subverting the idea that art is only for our walls at home.
Yeah.
It's like, what are the different ways? Is it in a history book? Is it in a, something else? Is it part of a presentation? Is it this? Is it that? So really breaking down those boundaries. Even like, I see you doing that. You got the book out.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's paintings, there's books, there's this, there's that. And a lot of my work doesn't really work well at someone's house on the wall.
But it can.
It can, but it's tough. Even black people don't like to acquire it all the time. Or some people have said, I like it in my office not in my home.
Because they're going to see it in their office for them. And so, like, at that point, it's like...
Or it's, like, intimidating when people walk in. Like, it's like a power thing.
I'm the type of person that wouldn't be... Just because I wouldn't hang it in my house,
yeah.
I also wouldn't hang nudes. Like,
exactly.
I'm not into nude art, even though I find it amazing.
Yeah.
I'm very open with my kids about the body. We talk about it, like, people don't touch you here.
But that's not the work you're going to put in the house.
Yeah. But, like, I wouldn't feel intimidated, I think, because I would sit there and stare at it and look at it as a piece of art.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would not... I can look past the offensiveness, and I say that because I don't like that word.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I just don't say. But I could still see and feel the impact that it would have.
And that's when, a lot of my work that does use agitational language, whether it be the N-word, whether it be cuss words, whether it be statements that challenge people, the key piece always is that I'm still using good color theory. I'm still, really keen on composition and shape. So a lot of times, my work using text, it starts to create a pattern, and unless it just looks like a nice colorway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it also, like, it disarms people a lot of times. And, that's, like, a really big intention of my work. It's, like, disarming people to have open dialogue.
Yeah, but art is to disturb. It make you feel uncomfortable in some aspects.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the quote.
But sometimes it's like a back, I like burn on the back.
Yeah.
See, I like it to be sweet on the front and then burn on the back.
Yeah, like General So's.
Yeah. A little after heat.
Yeah, you're like, oh man, I taste that pepper.
Yep.
Yeah, but to me, like, I like art like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I make art like that. And again, this isn't about me right now. It's all about you. But it's like, I love the concept and hearing like the reasonings and your process in a way. You know, like, I love that. And where do you want to take this? Because I mean, you're pretty known.
Thanks.
I mean, like when I tell someone, like prior, I told you my buddy said hi.
Yeah, that rarely happens.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like he spoke about you in really high regard within the hip hop community, like, and stuff, and then also about your artwork.
Yeah,
and he was like, "Hey man, you need to check him out," and I was like, "I know the name," so I went and I was like, "You're following me?"
Yeah, I was already following you.
And I was like, "How am I not following?" And that's the thing, like we miss in this day and age, we miss so much because of technology.
Yeah, that's true.
And like, I wish there was a way to be like it would pop up and say, "This person's showing you," but immediately, like, give like a little screenshot of their first 3 pictures or 6 pictures, like be like, "Oh, this is who they are." Like, I got to look on that. Mm-hmm. So like, I get amazed by your work.
Well, this ride has been really nothing I could have ever dreamed of. I appreciate you saying, that people are familiar with my work. I'm also, like, super from Pittsburgh, so that always helps. I went to, like, all the public schools, and I'm from the neighborhood. I'm not from the suburbs, and always been a child of hip-hop. So, just, like, I'm also standing in the legacy of other artists, and I'm really grateful for that, and I know that, so people like Thaddeus Mosley, August Wilson, Brother Amir, just like Jorge. There's just like a lot of people who have come before me that, enable us to be here at Boom today. Groups like Women of Visions here in Pittsburgh is like an excellent example of, something that has influenced Boom in our existence. So, what do we want? Man, I want to be happy with my family. I want to be a respected professional, and I want to, be able to, like, pick and choose my projects. However that may come, I'm really open to it, and, we don't have any plans on shutting down Boom, so we want to just keep advancing and evolving.
Well, so to keep Boom open, especially this time, is there donations and stuff? Because I want to have all those links in the description. And I'm telling everyone now, whenever you listen to this or view it on YouTube, please consider donating what you can with the links provided. So it's important to our community out here in the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, man. And even when we go to other places, so we travel and we look for the Boom concepts there.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it be Baltimore, Cleveland, DC, New York, Buffalo, Miami, Denver, San Francisco, Providence.
Yeah.
We rarely find another place like this. Mm. And when we tell people, or when unique tourists come to visit Boom, like one of our events or one of our programs, they always say, man, this is something special, across the nation.
Yeah, it really is.
So for Boom, we always depend on ourselves, and we're going to be setting up an online way to really make that smoother for folks. We're always writing grants. We're always looking to work with other institutions, museums, whether it be regionally or across the world. And, we always take donations, man. We have a fiscal sponsor where people can donate. And we also have, your traditional PayPal thingamabob. So, support Boom Concepts.
Yeah, please support him. Please. So, the gallery world, how I see it, is very misogynistic. It's and when I say that, it's because it's run by
dudes.
It's run by older white men. Mm-hmm. That I think 70%. My research number could be off. It's like 70-some% are older white men that are in galleries. Mm-hmm. that they show their work. So it's like, I think what's missing is a younger generation, and also a diversity within the like people of color. I couldn't understand why a gallery would be like, I love this art, and then they look at the artist and be like, nah, he's too young, he's too dark, he's this, oh, he's gay. No, I don't get that. I don't understand that, and that seems like what could happen.
Oppression is any job. Mm-hmm. Any job, bias and oppression exists. One of the pieces about being a gallerist is it costs to have space.
It does.
And how many of us really can afford to pay your rent or your mortgage and then pay a rent and a mortgage on another, right? Or even how many of us know how to collect the necessary resources to even do that? So there's a bar that you have to jump. There's definitely a bar. Our team has had women influences. Thomas and I are the founders, 2 black men. We've had women influencers across our time at Boom Concepts and also across our individual practice. Mm-hmm. So, I have women mentors, I have queer mentors, colleagues, and we have a really diverse group of people around Boom. Again, as I was saying earlier, is that helps us with the accountability piece. The majority of the people who have showed here have been women or femme-identified people, and that makes us feel really good.
Yeah, it seems like you have a great thing going, and I love it. I do. I support this. You mentioned to me that you have an event coming up.
That's right.
Explain to me and everyone else what's going on.
Yep. So I got some notes here, so you might see me look down, but I'm going to try to do it from off my notes too. So you asked, how can you support Boom? We have a virtual fundraiser that we're doing with a cohort of other black and brown, queer, femme-led organizations.
Okay.
So there's a collection of organizations. They're all artist-based. Mm-hmm. And we all share the same values and beliefs. We do it in different ways, but it's something that we wanted to do together. It's spearheaded by the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. The event is called Hotline Ring. It happens this week, July 16th, and it is a marathon style event. So like the old WQED or Call In or blah 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 blah. So it runs from 5 to midnight.
Okay.
Online with a bunch of different programming from all the different partners. So there's about 7 organizations. Boom Concepts is one of them. Kelly Strayhorn Theater is the lead. There's folks like Stacy Pro Dance Productions, which is near and dear to our heart, and a bunch of other good groups. And everyone is presenting at least 30 minutes worth of content. So you're going to get a little dance. You're going to get a little ceremony. You're going to get a little champagne toast. Boom Concepts is presenting something called Puppet Karaoke. Puppet Karaoke.
Puppet Karaoke.
That's right.
Please tell me
it's exactly what it sounds like. Puppet Karaoke.
So you can't see, I'm smiling. Like, I dig puppets, man. I dig puppets.
Right?
Yeah.
So, July 16th, 5 to midnight. And, since we can't be together like a typical fundraiser, we've reached out to 2 businesses, Casa Brazil and Every Days and Sundays. They're 2 restaurants based here in Pittsburgh where you'll be able to pre-order like a little happy hour box and a dessert box.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a through line that you can have in your home and share with other people that's related to the event.
So it's like going to an event in your home and having the event food at your home. That's dope.
Yep.
That's dope.
Yep.
So I need all those links.
Yep. July 16th, 5 to midnight, hotline ring, led by the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. And our fundraising goal is $100,000.
I hope you hit it. I hope you do.
$100,000 split between 7 organizations.
Yeah, I'll make sure all this is shared on my personal page, on the podcast page. I'm gonna hit that through all my social media. I'll do everything I can.
For sure.
So, with everything else going on, the struggles with COVID and everything.
This is my first podcast with a mask on.
Yeah. This is masked
being
up.
serious.
Man. It's wild doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was great. Like when we were trying to arrange times, and we just was like, why don't we just come here to Boom?
Yeah.
And I thought that was a great opportunity to share a gallery that is Black owned.
Yep.
I think right now it's very important. It's important to me to support that.
Appreciate that.
It's reminded me now of what we should be doing as humanity. Like, not avoiding places, not that I was, but making sure in general.
Being intentional, making an effort.
Yes. Being very conscious enough to be like, all right, I've never tried this place. I know who owns it. I want to give it a try and support. But I think it's great being here. I love the space. It's huge. But during all this, what is your inspiration to come out like for creating paintings, doing your theatrical work, your installations and everything? What's your motivation and inspiration?
It all really goes back to landscape, even though it's expressed in a different way. So I grew up in the city, so I'm really influenced on different icons and images and materials that you can find and encounter just walking down the street.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's like I may use house paint as opposed to a fine art craft. I may use cardboard and a lot of recyclable materials.
I love painting on cardboard.
Right? I may use like dollar store supplies, things that are like readily available in my environment tends to be what kind of works itself into my artwork. And then honestly, man, like my wife and child are my biggest inspiration.
Right.
So, I can't even fake the funk on that.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what? I can't either because like I have a lot of inspiration through different artists. I do, but like when I sit down with my kids and we do a lot of art time. We do a lot of drawing, a lot of painting. I sit back and I take a lesson off of them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a fuck what they're doing. They're just having fun, and sometimes that's what I need to reset, re-energize, and be like, you know what? I don't give a fuck right now. I'm gonna paint what makes me happy, and like that's in a way what got me into like with my recent series, and it's so nice seeing someone young do it because they're not trying to get likes on Instagram, Facebook. They're not trying to get shares or mentions or create a new hashtag. Like, they're doing it because they love it.
And that's just what I'm trying to follow, man. I'm trying to just follow my heart. I mean, I am inspired. Another one of my biggest inspirations is my business partner. We keep each other really sharp. We keep each other's values and beliefs in a line.
Is it hard?
Having a business partner?
No.
Oh, okay.
Having a creative, someone so creative close to you, because I found sometimes it's difficult to take feedback and criticism. Like, I can take it, but when it's coming from someone who else is a creative, I think we're so blunt.
Yeah.
Like, I found creatives very blunt and straightforward. That I've taken it the wrong way.
Yeah. I think we've over 6 years, and I mean, Thomas and I have known each other before this, but we, entered into this as business partners. And over 6 years between he and I and our community, we've kind of just built a language. And also, we really have a good idea of each of our intentions.
Yeah.
And have really good expectations about dialogue. Yeah. So, I think it's been a blessing. Also, like, after or before we're artists, we're like two adult men with distinct personalities, distinct experiences, and what makes this business partnership work is that we're very complementary to each other, and the things that conflict are positive challenges.
Okay.
So
I like that.
I think it's just like I couldn't have dreamed of a better partnership. We've grown together, we've worked together. And it's just like, it's just something that I'm really thankful for. And, our team around us is like aggressive, ready to go, ready to rock, and keeps us on our toes. So you couldn't ask for more, man.
I'm glad to hear that. I love the place. Can you please say the fundraiser that you're doing again?
July 16th, 5 p.m. to midnight. Hotline Ring. Led by the Kelly Strayhorn Theater. Buy your happy hour snack pack or dessert box from Casa Brazil or Every Day's a Sunday. Bing!
Yeah. So I thank you for being a part of this. Definitely would like to have you back.
For sure.
And chop it up during hopefully a lesser
different
times, but just good vibes, and we can sit down and have a beer together if you drink. If not, I get you water, tea, whatever.
Yep.
But it's amazing having you, and this is Durty Talk episode 18 with my man Darrell Kinsel, and all his links will be in the description for his art, Boom Concepts, for the fundraiser, for everything, donations. Please come out and support, and keep an eye on them so when they have events, just come out. You can learn something. Yeah, just come here and learn and appreciate all the art that comes through here.
Thank you. Peace.
Producers, designers, activists and rhymers, people dedicating time, keeping treads on tire, madams and sagas, breaking down the atoms and fibers. Every episode a new story to be told, dirty digging for gems and superpowers people hold. What inspires the movements and refusals to fold, the allegories and all their glory now. Don't be snoring, grab a coffee or a brew or two and open YouTube. Check out what I do, you can like and share it too. Show it to your family and every person in your crew, and put that subscribe button to use. Durty Talk, the podcast, brought to you by my man Bob Fryer, aka Dirty Art. Check it out.